All right, here we go. This morning, I actually did a vlog on the three things that I was noticing that are getting mixed up, and how information is presented to our significant others. And I was thinking real clearly about that, and I said, I think that we focus sometimes too much on the content, but then there are people who are a little slicker and understand that there is also a context and how the content has to be delivered. But there's a third component that we sometimes leave out, because it can be included in the context of what you're saying or what you're doing in a relationship, but it also can be something that can be extracted out, and I think that it needs to be extracted out for this very reason. So again, there are three things that we got to think about. There's the content of what you're saying or what you're doing in your relationship. There's the context of what you're saying or what you're doing in the relationship. But then there's the third one. There's the intent of what you're saying and what you're doing in the relationship. When we grew up, we learned about the 5 W's, right? The who, what, when, where, and why. When we talk about the content of what you're saying or what you're doing, we're just talking about the what. What are you doing? You're buying flowers, or you're going to work, or you're smiling, or you're saying you love the person, or you're saying to your business partner, I trust you, or you're getting engaged into a business relationship with someone, or you're telling your little brother or sister you want to go outside and you're hanging out with them. That's the what. What are you doing? Or what are you saying? Those things are very important, but I think sometimes we get caught up in it, and then we allow ourselves to translate that to what we don't understand about it. Someone can say, I love you, and then another person can say, well, you say that, but you really don't mean that. And why they'll say that is because of the context. The context can be misunderstood, very clearly can be misunderstood. And the context is the who's saying it, where they're saying it, when they're saying it. And when you look at those things, a lot of people are going to use that. They're going to say, well, you said it with an attitude, or you said it when I wasn't ready to hear it at that moment. So it can really be misunderstood. So the context is the when it's being said, where it's being said, who's saying it. It also could include the why, but I took that one out for a very specific reason. We say 5 W's and the H. So how it's being said. So basically, who's saying it, when it's being said, where it's being said, and how the person is saying. That's the context. As Christians, we get in trouble about that all the time, because we look at the Bible, we read something, and we look at it, and we say, what does it say? And we're like, oh, and they take it out of the context of where it was being said, when it was being said, who was saying it, and how they were saying it, how they were presenting it. They also take out of it the why. So let's get to that point. The intent. I believe, based on everything that I've been seeing, it is the intent that is so much more valuable, the why something is being said, but we don't spend a lot of time on that. We rarely spend time on the why a person is saying it. If you could really get to the intent of the heart, the intent of the statement, the intent of the action, it can clear up a whole lot of the context issues that we have about the content, the what. I.e., a person gives you flowers after an argument. Does that necessarily equate to them being sorry? Because if they gave you flowers after an argument, they could be just doing it because they don't want to see you cry, and then they're trying to get on and move on. They could have been very wrong. They may not have apologized at all. Or they may have apologized, and apology didn't mean what you think it meant. So the intent, why did they do that? Why did that person do that? It is very interesting that we can say that we know a person's intent, but you really don't know the person's intent until you ask them. And if the person is honest and you trust them and you trust what they're saying, then the intent has to be taken for face value. If you say, I did not intend to hurt your feelings, then the person has to be asked, then what was your intent? Well, my intent was this. And you could either say, yeah, I agree. You intended not to hurt my feelings by being late. You intended to be on time. Then I would ask, so what were the things that you did to make sure that you could be on time? Well, I did this, I did that, but my boss really made this impossible for me to be on time. Or circumstances changed so dramatically that it made it impossible for me to be on time. So the person had the intent on being on time, but the context of what was happening did not allow them to be on time. See what I'm saying? So we gotta be careful. So in the conversation, when we're communicating, we gotta understand the content, which is what is being said, the context, which is who's saying it, when they're saying it, where they're saying it, how they're saying, and we got to understand the intent, which is why they're saying it or doing it, because it doesn't just go for words, but it also goes for actions. So again, focus very clearly on the content, the context, and the intent. If you understand those things about the communication or the action that your significant other, your boss, your whoever you're in, whatever kind of relationship you're in, if you can understand those three things, you can clear up a lot of problems within that relationship, whether it's a business relationship, a sibling relationship, a marital relationship, or any kind of relationship, a spiritual advisor relationship, whatever, mentor-mentee. You got to know the content, you got to know the context, and you have to know the intent. Like I said, we're going to heal this world one relationship at a time. One relationship at a time.